Thank you. The Honourable Member for Edmonton Beverly Clareview, followed by Medicine Hat.
Mr. Speaker, once again, this government's shown, this time through a task force of appointees and PCMLAs, that they don't understand the complexities and challenges in today's classrooms. No teacher can be at their best in a class with 40 students or a class with diverse needs but little to no support. To the Premier, why won't you admit what every parent, teacher and child already know? That class size and class makeup determines the quality of education we provide our children.
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, that would not conform with the research that's been done across the world with respect to what actually makes excellence in education. Class size is important, and the demographic makeup of a classroom, including the abilities and skills of the children in that classroom, are important. But what really makes a difference is excellence in teaching. And all of us who have been in a classroom know that a teacher an excellent teacher can handle a class of 40 students in the right circumstances, but in other circumstances a class of 10 students might not be appropriate. But excellence in teaching is always appropriate to the success of our students.
Thank you. For supplemental.
Baloney, Mr. Premier. Mr. Speaker, given that this government was elected on a promise of predictable, sustainable funding for our schools, all the way from kindergarten to grade 12, and given that after 2 budgets from this PC government, our schools have been left to deal with freezes and cuts, which mean fewer supports for students and bigger classes, will the Premier accept that to have excellent classrooms, you need to have excellent funding? And the first problem his government should address is the broken promises.
Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, what this honourable member should know, having been in the legislature and having had the opportunity to peruse budget, is that the per capita funding for students has not been cut. It is in fact there, and it's demand-driven. We fund every single student in this province, and those funds go to school boards, and they have the ability to allocate those dollars to the classroom. And so we have good funding for students in this province and for the education system in this province. We have a strong education system. We have a strong curriculum, and we're going to make it stronger. And we have excellent teachers. And that's why the world is coming to Alberta to see how we're doing education.
Final supplemental.
And that's why we have classes with 30, 40-plus students. Mr. Speaker, given that teachers want to be supportive, inclusive leaders in the classroom, and given that this government has cut the resources they need to play that role, will the Premier explain suggesting that teachers need to improve without providing them the resources to do so can be seen as anything other than blaming them for this government's failures?
Speaker, we have not cut resources for students in the classroom. In fact, we have maintained those resources, and school boards can allocate those resources appropriately to determine how many students need to be in classrooms and how much support they need around. And the honourable member should realize from his question that it's not just about the teacher in the classroom, but also about the supports for the teacher in the school and for the students in the school that creates a successful education system. But again, we come back to excellence in teaching being foundational. And excellence in teaching means ensuring that teachers get a good start in the profession, that they continue their professional development, and that they're supported when they are in trouble.